How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Farmy. Ended up having a green day. It is continuing to consolidate, and many are saying, you know what, Dre, we need to get an update. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We need to know those key levels so we have a strategy going into tomorrow and as well for the rest of the week. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information and as well as the recent institutional ownership. The short interest is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know what was the buying and the selling behavior like on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for Farmy. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at 35 cents, being up 1.09%. On the low, it tested 34 cents, and then on the high, testing 35 cents. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 50.911 million shares, and then for the average volume over 10 trading days being at 118.793 million shares. So right away, you can see, even though we did have below average volume on the day, we still saw some strength inside of the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is the 1-year daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is right around 52.34. So almost right there in the middle. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here, you can see we are below the 200-day. We're also below the 100-day. But one thing that I like to see, we're right on the 21-day EMA, just a little bit above it. And then as far as for the 50-day is concerned, we are above that as well. So what are we seeing? Continuous consolidation from Farmy. And one thing that is very clear, we do have resistance right here at the 100-day around 37 cents. We have tried to test this in the past back here in the beginning of November, but again, we were just unable to pass it. And now you can see we're just kind of been consolidating in this range in the 30 cents. So I'm looking forward to actually seeing a strong pop coming out of Farmy sometime this week. It would be ideal for us to get past 37 cents so we could possibly have a test to where we can get here around 42 cents. But that's only going to happen unless we have a lot more volume coming into the stock. So if it decides to continue its consolidation, this is why I would say I would look forward to seeing a strong spike, whether it would come this week or early next week. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Farmy. So scrolling down further on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed position. So as we take a look at November filings, we have Advisor Group Holdings on November the 5th that purchased 200 shares. We also have Advisory Services Network LLC that had a closed position as well. And then if we take a look, and this was October the 26th to be exact, we have Fidelity NASDAQ Composite Index Fund that purchased just over 104,000 shares. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, the dark pool short volume ratio is at 51.21%. And then for the dark pool short volume being just over 23.4 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 10 million, updated 27 minutes ago. And then for the short ball fee rate, it is at 6.03%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we can see for the close on November the 4th, it was at 49.78. And then for the Friday that just passed, it was at 51.21. So it'll be very interesting to see if the short interest does increase when we get the numbers later on in the evening. But one thing we do know for a fact, Farmy does have short squeeze potential. And this is part of the reasons why the stock needs to see more volume so we can see those moves to the upside. So now let's jump into the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Farmy. So we can see here on the inflow is 4,241, and then on the outflow it was 4,100. 968. So we ended up having an inflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large we had 918, on the medium we had 2,329, and then on the small we had 994. When we take a look at the outflow side on the large, it was 644. On the medium it was 2,411, and then on the small it was 1,114. When we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for November the 5th and as well as for the 8th today, we have inflows, and for today to be exact, it was at 274.18. So when we take a look at the breakdown even further, we can see there was more selling on the retail side when we take a look at the small scale orders, but we still had some buying. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, again, we had some more selling. But when we take a look at the large, that is a difference maker right there. What it looks like, we're seeing a lot of large scale orders that came in today, which potentially could be institutions. Now, when we take a look at the turnover ratio, you can see it is right around 18.38%. And you know what? This is not too bad for a penny stock like Farmy. There were a lot of traders who were inside of this play, and there's also many people after a while seeing how it's been trading, they're just going to sell. But one thing that is very clear though, there is demand. There's people who are purchasing, and we also do see, there's many who are also holding. So this is why, let Farmy consolidate, because the longer it does this, then eventually we should be able to see some strong moves. But keep in mind, I do not keep shares overnight when it comes to this play. I rather trade when it looks like there's a lot more volume, and that's why it's very important to make sure you have a strategy before even entering this play. So now let's jump into the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for Farmy, actually before we get started, let me share the recent update that came out today. So we have here Farmy's Inc. subsidiary Zhejiang Farmy Biotechnology Co. Ltd, sorry if I butchered that, has won a new multi-product order for its dried black fungus and whole dried mushrooms. The financial terms of the order were not disclosed. The customer will export Farmy's products to Vancouver, Canada. We are pleased with the continued momentum we are seeing in our target international growth markets, including Canada, the US, and Europe, said CEO Yifeng Zhang. I hope I didn't butcher that again. So again, this is some great news to know that as far as for the operational side for the company, things are moving forward. So anyone who was holding shares, like I said, this is the type of things that you want to know about, especially if you're vested in this company. Even though you are looking for a big time move, you want to know what you are holding. This is very key. Do not be buying stocks and holding them overnight if you have no idea what the company's about. I want to make sure I'm very clear about that. When we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, this play does continue to have short squeeze potential. But the thing is, Farmy needs more volume. You need to have more demand coming in to this stock. If you don't end up getting it, then we could have continuous consolidation, or we could see the price going into a downtrend. When we do take a look at the chart, it does have some gaps to fill. I can see where we could see a bullish move, but again, it's very reliant on buying pressure, and the moment we get some more buying pressure coming in, I can see Farmy moving up. Another thing also to be aware of, there are many people who are selling, and that's part of the reasons why I gave those areas of resistance, especially right at the 100-day. But I think things can get very interesting for Farmy if it can find some momentum above the 40-cent level and as well as 44, and then seeing where it could go from there. Like I said, do your homework. Do your due diligence before jumping into this play. Keep it on your watch list. Maybe you might want to buy one share like a tracker share, and then you have an idea of, well, you know what, looks like there's a lot of momentum coming in, or even taking a look and see what's happening inside of the pre-market and seeing what the volume is like, and that can give you a good idea what things can actually look like. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.